o'clock. I'm going to call to order. The first thing is we're going to need a motion to approve of our prior committee meeting minutes. So do I have a motion to approve? I have a motion by Mr. McGowan, who is on the committee. Seconded by Ms. Hogan, who also is on the committee. Very good. I also see Mr. Diamond, who's on the committee, is there. Mr. Conover, Mr. Bruno, myself, and Ms. Seaver. Okay, so the full committee is here. I'm going to call the motion do we approve the prior committee meeting. Say yes or aye if you approve.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yes.
Okay, no opposed? Okay, very good. All right, let's go right into the agenda. Oops, I don't know what that was. Today's agenda is fairly short. We don't have an airport portion of it because there wasn't really anything to address. But we do have the buildings and grounds, and I'm going to turn it over immediately to our good director, Kevin Hajos. And Kevin, if you look on your agenda, it'll be on page 2. And go ahead, Kevin, take away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first 3 resolutions are related. The first one is to renew agreement with Constellation Energy Services as the preferred supplier of energy for the county for electricity. The second would be to renew an agreement with Direct Energy, which is the preferred supplier of natural gas. And then the third one, which is on page 21, would ratify the actions of the chairman of the board to actually sign the contracts for both of those today. Reason being is the price fluctuates, on a weekly basis. And at this point, since we're getting closer to winter, the price is going to start going up. Right now, in our current contract, we pay $57.13 per megawatt hour for electricity. This would reduce us to $54, so a reduction of almost $3. And then for the natural gas, I think pay $4 or 4.08 per decatherm, and this would reduce it down to 3.725 per decatherm. So those are the 3 resolutions, and it would be to again renew each one of these, and it would be for the next 36 months if you would lock into these prices.
Kevin, I've got a question. So we get a reduction in both these energy costs, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot. But what do you think that would actually save the county by having these lower rates for a full year? I
can't give you an exact number. I think I figured it out that we use somewhere in the vicinity of 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts per year. So give me a second. I have my calculator right here. I'll try to do a quick scenario.
Thank you. You're the best.
So probably $30,000 to $40,000 of a savings.
For both of them combined?
That's just for the electricity one, because
Wow.
they do them at different rates. So electricity would probably be about, I think it was from 291 we would be at this year total to maybe 330 currently that we're at right now. And that, again, that's just an estimate of approximately what we're paying. So from 330,000 to 291,000.
Wow. I think that's significant. Excuse me. Whenever we can save $40,000 by getting lower rates, and I think that's fairly significant. Mr. McGowan, did you have a question?
Yes, and Kevin, you said this was over our 36-month contract.
36-month contract for 3 years. Yep.
Now,
Yes,
what happens if for some reason the prices even go lower? Can we get out of that contract? And
there's a clause in the contract that we can get out of it, but I can tell you for the last 10 years, electricity and gas have both increased by about 15%. There's a couple of the nuclear power plants that are shutting down. That's not going to reduce electricity; it's only going to increase it.
right.
So, but it's a fixed rate, so we're going to be locked into this $54 for the electricity and the $3.72 for the next 3 years. So if it goes up to $60, we're still locked into the $64.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGowan. Other comments? Yes, Ms. Hogan.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a question. These are renewals, so these are the companies we're using now?
Yes, this is through there's a bid that it's put out by Genesee County that we piggyback on. It's a bid through what they refer to as MEGA, which is the Municipal Engineering and Gas Alliance. Basically, what they do is this Municipal and Electricity Gas Alliance puts out a bid. I think there's 35 counties within New York State are on this bid right now, as well as I think they have over 600 towns and villages and other. Based on the buying power with all these, that keeps our rates low. But Genesee puts out the bid, and we just piggyback onto their bid.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Hogan. Any other comments? Okay, now, does anybody want to put all three motions into one resolution?
I'll do that.
Supervisor Conover, second by Ms. Hogan to do that. So we will piggyback all three together. That would be 2, 14, and 21. Is that correct, Mr. Hajos?
That is correct.
Okay, so I will now need a motion to approve approve of a resolution to approve of these three contracts. Do I see a motion by Mr. McGowan, a second by Mr. Bruno? Discussion? We've had some, but I'm open for any more discussion. Okay, hearing none, none from the boardroom either. Okay, I will now call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing and hearing none, I assume the boardroom was all ayes. Is that correct, Amanda?
That's correct.
Thank you. Okay, next item, Mr. Hajos.
I just want to add on real quick, Amanda. So you'll have Frank sign these contracts today to lock in the prices if he's there.
If he's here, yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen it today.
Okay. All right. The next item is on page 22 of the agenda and 23. These are for our vending machines throughout the county center and as well as a couple other locations. This is to obtain the supplier for both the beverages in the vending machines as well as the snacks. So the new contract on 22 would be Fitzgerald Brothers for the beverages in the vending machines, and the new contract for vending machine snacks would be with Prestige Services.
Okay, do I have, should these be combined or separate, Mr. Hajos, or is your recommendation? What's your?
Separate contracts, two different companies.
Okay, so we'll first talk about number 22, the contract for Fitzgerald Brothers. Do I have a motion to bring that to the floor?
I'll make that motion, Supervisor Beatty.
Thank you, Ms. Seaver. Ms. Seaver moves it. I see a second by Mr. McGowan. Now discussion. Somebody wants to talk about snacks and Coke? Just throwing that out there. I'm a big snacker.
Well, the only thing I like, they're local companies, and you know, we're supporting our local things, so I'm happy they, you know, are able to take care of us. So
I agree.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I will call the question then. We had a motion and we had a second. I will call the question. All in favor of approving Fitzgerald Brothers as our vending machine and beverages supplier, say aye.
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 Opposed? Amanda, how did the boardroom vote?
All in favor?
Thank you. Okay, next item, Mr. Hajos.
The next one is the contract with Prestige for the snacks.
Now you're talking my area, the snacks. Okay, do I have a motion by anyone to bring it to the floor? Mr. McGowan, a second? Who's a snack eater? Okay, Bruno's a snack eater. Oh, Andrea's a snack eater too. All right, we got 3 snackers. All right, discussion. Anybody have any comments or discussion on approving of this vendor to supply us with snacks?
Say that again, Doug. Snacks.
Snacks. Okay, I see. Seeing no comments on the snack resolution, I'll call the question. All in favor of approving the supplier for our vendor snacks, say aye.
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 Opposed? Amanda, how did the board vote?
All in favor?
Thank you very much. Okay, let's now go to referral and pending items. Mr. Hajos, you want to talk about the first item that's up for, it's a pending item?
Yeah, the first item, and Amanda, I guess I'm going to ask you if you want to just remove this for a little while. It was discussion regarding the changes to concrete area in the front of the county center. We put that on hold based on the COVID-19, and that this would be the last phase of the court facility anyways. And we're just getting to the point of we'll be getting out the bids for phases 3, 4, and 5, which is the Supreme Court area, court clerk's area, as well as the DA's office area. So I don't know if we want to continue to keep this on there every month or just remove it until we get to this phase in the court project, and then we'll bring it back up again.
Discussion, Mr. Bruno.
Kevin, did we have any proposals for that area? I remember months ago, we briefly discussed it, and I think you were looking for ideas or what have you for that area. Is that correct?
We did. I had a couple of supervisors provide me some correspondence and some ideas of what they'd like to see out there. We also were going to have Clark Patterson kind of do up a conceptual plan for us. But we also told Clark Patterson to stop work because it wasn't a necessity to do it at this time. Again, everything to do with the coronavirus, that we kind of put that on hold. So if we give them the green light to go ahead, they can come up with a conceptual plan. But right now, it's so far out.
Right.
I would say this wouldn't happen until next spring or summer.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other discussion, any other questions from anyone?
Supervisor Beatty.
Looks like Miss Seaver is out for a jog. Yes, Miss Seaver.
You are a comedian this morning, Doug. So I just wondered, can we leave it on like the pending, maybe just to put not for discussion until applicable, but I'd hate to lose sight of it. I think there is a community campaign or, that we can do with this. I think there were a lot of great ideas, but I'd hate to lose it off a to-do list.
Would your recommendation be to bring it up, say, 3 months from now again, after we hopefully are past this COVID?
Yeah, just leave it at the bottom as, it doesn't have to be discussed every month, but, just given changes and things, it might be worth not talking about it for a little while. But I think there are some really great ideas in the community on how to utilize some of this space that I'm actually walking in front of right now. Out here that really could provide such a great opportunity for reflection, memorials, and different things like that.
Okay, so is it the committee's flavor to keep it on the agenda, but just we don't have to discuss every month unless someone wants to discuss it? And once hopefully we're past this COVID-19 pandemic, we can maybe bring it to a more serious discussion level on what we're going to do there. Is that
I agree with that.
You're for that, Ms. Bruno? Okay. Anyone else? Comments? Okay, so we'll keep, Mr. McGowan?
Yes, thanks. I think that's a great idea. And Rachel, thanks for bringing that up. We never know. We might be able to get a really spectacular deal on one of these statues coming down some area where we can, maybe have a statue moratorium in front of our buildings. So, you never know.
Always thinking, Brad.
We'll try to.
Okay. All right, so we'll keep that on the monthly agenda. We don't have to discuss unless someone wants to discuss it. But the way I perceive this is once we get further down the road, we can probably have a serious discussion on maybe what goes out front. Okay, the next item on there is referral from the Environmental Concerns and Real Property Tax Services Committee to put a plan in place to address the asbestos in the old jail. That was easy for me to say. Committee decided to delay any action on this item until further information is available regarding the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on the county finances. So I have talked to Mr. McGowan. At one time, he was thinking about putting together a small group to discuss possible options for the old jail. Mr. McGowan, did you want to make any comments or?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I was just saying, I kind of put everything on hold due to the COVID itself. This is something that I think we need to keep on. What it would be nice if I can get at least get the committee, or if Doug, if we can move forward to getting a committee who's interested in joining, getting on this committee and thinking on what we can do with the option with the asbestos and the lead. And we definitely, Kevin can bring us up. I mean, I've read the reports. To me, it's minimal stuff, but to, I guess, a county facility, it can turn into a major thing. But really to thumb around some ideas of what we can do. Claudia brought up a great idea of maybe an animal save a animal stray on the second floor. On the first floor, I thought of doing a regional I don't want to say regional morgue. I've gotten some feedback from other counties that might be interested. It's just kind of just putting it all together. We're limited to what we can do in that building due to the height of the ceiling, and without tearing it all down, just doing some sealing and some minor work. The coolers can be built for the down part. The coolers can be built for by our county people, because they're basically lock and play. You just put them together. We have a chase. I've got it all planned out, but if we can get a committee down to see if people are interested. I mean, right now with no money, I wouldn't suggest we do anything, but I think always having a plan in effect to move forward when things come back to a normalcy, where we can also gather together in a room and have all our heads together would be great. So it's up to you.
Well, I'd be open if we wanted to have, and it doesn't have to be, I don't know, maybe it's called an ad hoc committee of Mr. McGowan and 2 or 3 other supervisors discussing options. I think to me, that sounds like a decent idea. Is there anyone that would, I don't think that's anywhere non-transparent in any form or shape. So I guess Mr. McGowan's asking, is there anyone on the committee or any supervisors that would like to be on have a discussion group on the options available for the old jail? Mr. Bruno, you'd like to be on that?
Sure.
Okay, so Mr. McGowan, that is your first volunteer Army style. Do we have anyone else that would like to? Okay, at this time, then Mr. McGowan, I'm going to let you reach out to the other board members and see if anybody else would like to. Ms. Kramer, would you like to be on that?
I'd like to be kept in the loop. I can be on it, be on the committee. I was wondering, I can't remember if Kevin, if we've had an updated quote on the asbestos remediation.
We have not. No one's asked for an updated quote yet. I can have them come in there and give an updated quote on it. I think the last time we looked at it, it was somewhere in the $80,000 to $90,000 range.
It was 91, I think.
Yeah.
When, do you remember how long ago that was?
I don't. I know it's been some time.
Right. But we still have that asbestos contractor kind of on retainer, right? The one that we used for the Bay Road property. Or is it somebody else?
I think we just put out the bid for the new contract, and it was not the same person. Again,
oh, okay.
This new one came in actually a little bit higher on their prices, so the price may go up significantly.
Mr. McGowan, did you want to say something?
I just had a question. I mean, there's, the mediation, the removal of, or depending on the use of actually being able to seal it. So there's different options there, I think, that we have to discuss, depending on the use. And like I said, from what I've read in the report, a lot of the asbestos is really just in the caulking of the windows. But some light of asbestos in the older floor tiles that was common back in that era, but it's something that, we can open for discussion to, like I said, I'm trying to just really find the correct use and to be able to move forward with projecting any future expenses.
Okay, so Mr. McGowan, I'm going to leave this up to you to get with Ms. Premier and Mr. Bruno and discuss options and so forth. And we'll put it on the agenda for next month, Amanda and Kevin. Okay, you may have an update then, Mr. McGowan. You probably won't, but we'll just put it on the agenda for discussion if there is any. Yes, Mr. Hajos?
I just wanted to ask Brad, not that Frank and I necessarily need to be on the ad hoc committee, but please include us as part of your discussions. We might be able to offer, our own knowledge to whatever you may want to do.
That's a given. I was
Okay.
planning on you being anyways. I actually volunteered you because I know you don't have anything to do.
You're on double secret probation, Mr. Hajos, and you're now off probation. Okay, let's see here. Number 5, information for discussion review, photos and update on the OES facility.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide you all, I provided pictures as part of the package, but I have Frank on the phone and he can give the latest and greatest updates as to scheduling and when we'll be complete and when Brian will be able to move his equipment in there.
Very good. Frank?
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm audio on one and talking on the other, but OES building is the siding in the front. The siding is completed all the way around to the front. Yesterday they were framing the garage doors as they went, so it looks like when they're done with the siding on the front, then they'll be all set for the doors to go up, which the doors are here. The roof should go on in the next few days, and their plan is to be completed with siding and roofing and the pad inside by the end of the month. Which will let us pave around the building next month and hopefully get the equipment out of the parking lot and into the building, mid-August, towards the end of August. So I think it's coming along well and it looks good and no complaints from here.
Doug, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Thank you for the update, Mr. Morehouse. Ms. Hogan?
Thank you. I have a quick question. Is there electricity in this building?
Yes. We actually, my crew ran the pipe in for the electricity and my electrician will do the hookup. It's going to be basic lights for now and possibly a garage door control. Down the road, we also put in the potential for plumbing if we decide later on to put a bathroom in the building. But for right now, there's no heat, and so we'll do the electric after the building is completed.
Supervisor Hogan, we had a panel out there already that Brian was using. It was a exterior panel. We're just basically moving that wire and putting that panel inside the building now.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Morehouse? Amanda, is there any from the board, those in the board room?
There does not appear to be.
Okay.
Doug, sorry.
Mr. McGowan, yep.
Sorry, the last minute. Yeah, I did talk to Kevin yesterday and Frank. Just to put it out there, we are trying to design something up to go between the desks so we can get us back into the boardroom. I feel that we've come up with a little design which we could do, which separates every desk area with a 2-foot by 4-foot sheet of plexiglass that will extend out past the desk and keep us safe. We'd have to come in with our masks, and then once you sit down into your desk there, you should be pretty much, protected with the sanitizer and everything. trying to get everybody back into the boardroom, so we can be more face to face. Even though I know it's quite comfortable doing the Zooming here, but you know, looking forward to getting us all back together again as a group. So.
Well, thanks for that update, Mr. McGowan. I'm sure Mr. Moore and Mr. Hajos, Mr. Morehouse are all on top of that. I think it's probably the consensus that we all want to be back in the boardroom. I think interaction, face to face, and looking people in the eye, and is much more conducive to a positive meeting than sitting in, you know, everybody in 40 different places. So that's very good. Hopefully Mr. Moore can give us an update on when maybe that can happen. I don't know. Mr. Morehouse, did you want to say something?
We have actually a mock-up in the boardroom now, and will definitely be done by the next board meeting as long as I can get the plexiglass, which I think I can. So.
Okay. Well, that's a big positive step forward then. So what you're saying is, if I'm not mistaken, I want to be clear, it looks like at this time that there's a good chance that we'll be able to meet in the boardroom for our next board meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
For your August 21st board meeting, you will be in there, every single one of you, unless you don't want to come.
Unless we want to what, Mr. Hajos?
I said, unless you don't want to come, you will be able to go into the board meeting.
Okay, that's great news. Great news. Thank you, Mr. McGowan, Mr. Moorhead, Mr. Hajos. Yeah,
Also,
Brad,
too,
go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, you know, we talked about bringing in the public, and bringing in the public requires the distancing on the chairs and shield between this and that. And it was kind of when I was discussing it with Frank and Kevin, and I have a call into Ryan, you know, on it, that really for we'll stay up with the Zoom where the public can zoom in, and with Don Lehman on the public comment, you know, just to keep everybody safe and to keep the excess of people coming into the building that is not needed. That was the approach I was trying to take, not to keep anybody out, but really to keep it simple and safely for all of us. And with most of the building shut down, I thought that would be a good move to move, but make sure that the public has full access to our meetings in the building.
Thank you, Mr. McGowan. Obviously, transparency 100% is what we're going to go for, and we will achieve that. And in the safest and most prudent manner possible. So that will take precedent over everything, and I appreciate your help on this, Mr. McGowan. You become the MacGyver of the Board of Supervisors, so I don't think we've ever had anybody like you on there. But Mr. Hajos and Mr. Morehouse, I'm sure appreciate the help. So I now will allow 15 seconds for any comments that Mr. Lehman may have or are being sent in. So I'm gonna ask Mr. Lehman and Amanda. I will pause right now for any comments that the public may have or questions.
Good morning, Chairman Beatty. There is nothing on YouTube as of right now. We do have about a half dozen people watching, but no comments at this point.
Very good. Okay. Hopefully we can get that half dozen up to a dozen, and then 2 dozen and 4 dozen and blah, blah, blah. So everybody gets a chance to hear how effective county committee meetings can be. Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Mr. Bruno, a second by Mr. McGowan. All in favor of adjourning this meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There you have it, sports fans. The meeting is now adjourned. Thanks for attending, everyone.